Hi everybody and welcome to Treasure Time. Reverend Vicky here, and it's really nice to be with you today. I have some real treats in store for you, a new song in a moment and a great story for us to hear from the Bible. The story is called The Centurion's Servant. Don't worry about that big word of centurion. That means a Roman soldier, really. But we're going to listen to that story a little later on and hear about what it means to trust and obey. But first of all, got a brand new song for you, and I'm really excited about this one, so I hope you really like it too. It's called Who's the King of the Jungle? Oh wow, what an amazing new song that was to worship God together and remember that, He is King over all. And I hope you're not too overexcited now, but we're going to have our Bible story. So settle yourself down, get your listening ears on, because after the Bible story, which is from the Open the Book Bible, because I know you guys will be missing Open the Book so much. So I decided to read their story for you. But I hope you've got your listening ears on, because afterwards I'm going to ask a few questions so we'll know who's been listening or not. The Centurion's Servant. The Roman centurion stood before his soldiers. There were 100 in all, each and every man sworn to do whatever the centurion commanded. "Fetch my sword," he ordered. "Yes, sir, right away, sir," shouted one of his soldiers, and he was off in a flash. "Fetch my shield," he added. "Yes, sir, right away, sir," and another soldier ran off as well. "Forward march," he shouted once everything was ready. "Yes, sir, right away, sir," answered each and every man. And they marched off together through the streets of Capernaum. The centurion was used to giving orders, and he was used to being obeyed, not only by his men, but by the people of Capernaum as well. For the Romans were in charge of that city and all the land where Jesus lived. It was a land they had taken by force and now ruled with a cruel hand. One day the centurion went home and heard some bad news. His servant was ill, unable to move and in great pain. The centurion felt sorry for his servant, but for all his power there was nothing he could do, no order he could give to make the pain go away. So the centurion went to see Jesus. He'd heard that Jesus made sick people well, and so his request was simple. "Help me, sir," he said. "My servant is terribly ill." The people around Jesus wondered what he was going to do. This centurion and his soldiers had bullied them and stolen from them and pushed them around. Would Jesus do for this man what he had for so many others? But there was no question in Jesus' mind. He had taught his followers to love everyone, even their enemies. How could he do anything less? "I will go and heal him," Jesus said. And then the centurion said something that surprised them all. "No," he said. Could it be that he was remembering all the cruel things he'd done? "I do not deserve to have you visit my house. But I do know this. I am a man with power and authority. I tell my soldiers to fetch this, and they do it, saying, 'Yes, sir, right away, sir.' I tell them to fetch something else, and the answer is the same. 'Yes, sir, right away, sir.' And when I order them to march, they obey. 'Yes, sir, right away, sir.' You too have power over sickness. So all you need to do, Jesus, is to give the order, and I know that my servant will be healed." Jesus turned to those around him, amazed. "This man trusts me. He really does. I have not found this kind of trust even among our own people. And I'm telling you the truth when I say that people just like this man, people from all over the world, will one day be a part of all that God is doing. But because they do not trust me, some of our own people will miss out." Then he turned to the centurion and said, "Go, all that you hope for will happen." And at that very hour, the centurion's servant was healed. "Yes, sir, right away, sir." In our story today about the centurion servant, it shows how the centurion trusted and how he obeyed. And it's a great story to remember that even though Jesus wasn't with the centurion's servant, the servant was still healed on Jesus' command, on his word, through his prayer. But I wonder what else you can remember from the story. So I'm going to ask some questions. I'll leave a little bit of pause in between. You may want to pause the video whilst you're thinking of the answer and then start it up again. Who did Jesus say we should love? And I'll give you a clue. There's two answers to it, and both of them begin with the letter E. Okay, so next question. Were the Roman soldiers liked? Who in the story was sick? Could the Roman officer heal the man? Who could heal this man? I wonder if you knew the answers to those questions. If you want to, you can rewind and listen to the story again. But there's one last question before we move on to the prayer slide. And I'm going to ask the question, then we'll just have a little moment of quiet before we move on to our prayers. So the question is, do you need Jesus to help you? So maybe just ask him now for his help in whatever you need, and trust that he will answer that prayer for you. Sadly, we're coming to the end of Treasure Time for this week, but we're going to finish with one final song. Our story of the Centurion's servant was about obeying, it was about trusting, and that Centurion, that Roman soldier, trusted God. And we can trust God today. Throughout history, he has shown that he has been faithful. And so this song tells a little bit more of God's story and about God's faithfulness. I hope that you enjoy it.
Noah built the most enormous boat that kept the birds and animals afloat. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and Noah lived his life for him. Moses led his people through the sea, taking them away from slavery. get to know our God again. The Lord is good, the Lord is strong, and we will live our lives for Him.